I wanted to show everyone, this is one of the little cat huts that they have. And I just wanted to show everyone, see the, if you can see the amount of hair on this. The gray kind of hides it, but there's a lot of hair on it. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I want to show you one of my favorite tools that I really swear by. You know, Kim has her spin mop, and yeah, I still have the crate up. The crate has to get cleaned out. I was going to do that the other day, and then Rogue was laying against it, and I just didn't get it done. So I'm trying to I periodically try to clean all of their furniture because it accumulates so much hair, and and then the hair just goes everywhere. So what I use, and I actually have another thing here that I was working on earlier. I was actually doing a video with this piece of cat furniture first, this like little cradle thing. But Kim called me, and so I stopped the video, so I'm just redoing it. So anyway, this is what I use to clean my cat furniture. It's called a lily brush. You can get it from Amazon. I found out about these through cats.com back when Mallory Crusta, I think is how you pronounce her last name, when she was kind of the face. I don't know, the channel's changed since she left, but anyway, the lily brush is really cool. You can see this is all the hair. I'm just going to put this over here for a minute so you see what I mean. So you just simply go alongside. What I like about this is that it's small. I mean, I know people have bigger ones, but I like the small ones because I can just really get in there and clean it up. And you can use this little pointed side to get in all the nooks and crannies. It does a fabulous job. And I already done the bottom, so you can see the difference. So I'm going to finish this one a little later. What I'm going to do is work on this one. And the reason I'm going to work on this one is because you can see it better. I can actually put the tripod down and you can see it much better. And while I do this, I'm going to do some story time because I want to tell you the story of how I got Niffler. So you're getting a bonus Caturday Cat Tails midweek because I really want to do Niffler. And Niffler is a high-strung kitty. So he's not going to just lay there and let me talk like Fury or Rogue would. So I thought I would do it this way. So the story of Niffler. So Niffler, of course, was born outside. His mother is Lucy. Pretty sure his father is Rogue, just because of timing, because they actually... Rogue was with all three females. He was not neutered until May of 2020. So I figure that at least kittens born before then were his, or partly his, because, female cats can mate with more than one male and give birth to kittens from more than one father. So, pretty sure that he's Niffler's dad. And I mean, even after he was neutered, he might have fathered, because the vet didn't tell me that that male cats can still reproduce for a certain amount of time after they get neutered. I didn't know that. And maybe he just assumed that I was going to keep him in from that point onward, which I had originally planned to do, but it didn't work out that way. But Niffler, back to Niffler. So Niffler, of course, was born outside to Lucy and Rogue, and he had, there was five of them in that litter. So there was Niffler, there was a little cow kitty named Karma, and Karma was the cat that I wanted originally. Karma was the kitten that I was planning on keeping out of that litter. Then there's Abra. Abracadabra was one of Lucy's kittens. And there was another there was a black male. So there were two black. So she had two black cats. She had Abracadabra, and she had a male cat, a little male I named Mojo. So we had Karma, Mojo, Niffler, Abracadabra, and then the fifth was Shizuku. And Shizuku from day one was just never wanted to be around me, was not sociable at all. He would play with his siblings, but he never wanted to come near me. And so he's the closest to a feral cat, a natural feral cat. And actually, you really can't say that he's feral, because feral cats are cats that haven't been socialized. You know, all of Lucy's kittens were played with. I spent time with them. I used to spend hours going out at night, sitting out in the parking lot, and I would get up behind. I would kind of get in between the cars and sort of hide out in between the cars, so that I wasn't really noticeable from the street. And that's where we would play games. I'd play games with the kittens. I'd have toys for them, and I'd hand feed them chicken. And Niffler got his name from a character in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Niffler was, in that movie, a kind of little platypus looking critter that was a little thief. And what Niffler used to do is, I used to have these little plastic containers that I would fill with cooked cut chicken that I would take down, and I would hand feed them. When they would come close to me, they'd get a reward of chicken. And Niffler used to sneak up from behind and grab the chicken out of the container before I had a chance to catch him. So Niff was always a little bit shy. He wasn't a real outgoing kitty. At that time, I was working with a rescue that was just starting up. There was a woman who, she was a vet tech, and she started this nonprofit rescue, and they were like the first rescue that came to help me. So they had already taken one litter of kittens, and they were supposed to help me get the females spayed and neutered, or spayed. So that really wasn't happening, and I was starting to question exactly what they were doing, because they were taking the kittens. They just kind of seemed like, I don't know. they didn't really know what they were doing. Like they were new to everything, and so I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. And also, it was 2020, things were shut down in Pennsylvania. If things that were they had all these non-essential things that they shut down, and they included spay neuter clinics, even though everybody was like, what do you mean they aren't essential? Do you know how many cats we're going to have if you continue to do this? So I didn't think too much about it. So when the kittens were old enough to go to the rescue, I caught the first two were Mojo and Karma. And I told the woman at the rescue, woman that started the rescue, I said, look, I really want Karma. And the deal was that she was going to get him neutered and vetted and everything for me, and then she was going to give him back to me. That's what was supposed to happen. Well, so those were the first two that went. The next two were supposed to be Niffler and Abra. So the night that I caught Niffler, I did catch Niff. The night that I caught him, Abra ran underneath my car and hid. And I couldn't get her. So she avoided getting caught. So I wasn't able to get Abra, but I did get Niffler. And they didn't come out right away to get him. I had to keep him here for like 3 days. And during that time, Rogue just was right by the crate the whole time. It was that crate. That's a perfect kitten crate, by the way. It's good for adults. It's good for adults like Valentino, that they have to be in a confined space. But if I have an adult that doesn't have the problems that Valentino had, that can actually move around. I have a friend who has a bigger crate there where they can actually, well, I mean, this fits a litter box too, but that actually has room for them to move around. So I would use the bigger crate for a cat that wasn't really sick. But anyway, so that's a kitten crate. And every day, for the time that we had Niffler, Rogue was right by him. I noticed that Niff had fleas, so I gave him a dawn bath. And the whole time that I was doing that, Rogue was at the bathroom door having a fit. So I had to bring him in. And I don't know, I just kept saying to Rogue, I wish I could keep both of them. I wish I could keep him and Karma. I wish I could keep these two. I'd be honest with you, if I could have, I would have kept all of Lucy's kittens. I would have kept both litters of Lucy's kittens, because her kittens are just the sweetest things. I mean, Lucy can be a bit of a tough girl, but she's really, really sweet once you get to know her and once she gets to trust you. So Niffler went to the rescue. I think that was like July 20, around 20, between the 28 and 30 of 2020. And then I found out after the fact that on the day, the reason why they took so long to come over to pick Niffler up was because the young woman who had founded the nonprofit and started the nonprofit and who was a vet tech, she ended up going back to her ex-husband. I don't know what the situation was, but she went back to an ex. And the guy that she was with that started the nonprofit with her, of course, he wasn't happy about that. So he basically told her, okay, you leave, you don't come back. And since they were running the rescue out of his place, well, she wasn't involved anymore. But nobody told me that, which I think that's something that I should have been told, because I never would have taken kittens to them had I known that. They wouldn't have gotten the second batch of kittens. So my friend wanted a kitten from from Wusspuss. She had actually there was a little gray tabby that Wusspuss had in her litter that my friend wanted. So we went to pick up this kitten for my friend. And when we went to pick up that kitten, I asked them about Karma. And I, explained, I said, this person was supposed to have him vetted and everything for me. We had that deal, and the person there, the volunteer there, was like, oh, I don't know. So she starts bringing kittens down the stairs. She brings down every black and white kitten, every the tuxedo, and she's bringing them down. I'm like, no, that's Kit. No, that's some of them I recognized, some of them I didn't recognize. They weren't from our colony. So they brought down Niffler, and I said, oh, that's Niffler. She said, I don't even know who Niffler is. I said, well, Niffler is the one you're holding. That's Niffler. His brother is Karma. Karma is the one I wanted. Well, Niffler was terrified. Niffler was grabbing onto this woman with his claws. He had his claws dug into her shirt. She was basically screaming, oh my God, he hurts. Oh my God, he's digging into me. Oh my God. And I'm looking at my friend. My friend's looking at me, and my friend bends down and says, Wanda, take that cat. And I said, yeah, but that's not the... Whoops. Wait, what are you doing? Fury. That's not Masu up there. I said, but that's not the one that I wanted. So my friend's just like, just take him. So I said, I'll take. She said, and this woman's telling me that. I said, the markings are even different. So I'm whipping out my phone, and I'm showing this woman pictures. Now, Karma is a cow kitty. So a cow kitty has like random black splotches on a white body. Tuxedo is pretty much all black, but they have like a white chest, belly, and then generally white socks. And they may or may not have a little snip like up on their nose, or a little bit of white on their nose. It was very obvious, Niff was a tuxedo. He wasn't a tuxedo. Well, Niff was a tuxedo, and Karma was a cow kitty. So Karma, I don't know what happened to poor Karma. I guess Karma didn't have very good karma, because I don't know what happened to him, and I often wonder what happened to that poor cat. So I said, look, so we had our carriers. I said, okay. This woman's trying to tell me, but honey, that when they get older, their markings change. I'm like, they don't change like that. If they're a tuxedo, they're going to stay a tuxedo. If they're a cow kitty, they're going to stay a cow kitty. They don't change from a cow kitty to a tuxedo, or vice versa. So my friend's just like, Wanda, take the cat. So we put Niffler in the carrier, and then I realized that Niffler has a really bad respiratory infection. His eyes are all gunky. He's very thin. We brought him back to my apartment, him and the kitten. And I was going to actually foster my friend's kitten, because at the time my friend had an old cat that they wanted to make, the vet wanted to make sure that the kitten was completely vetted and everything before they introduced the kitten to the household. So I agreed that I would, because it's 2020, everything was shut down. So I agreed that I would keep the kitten until, she got everything worked out and could take him. So we put him in. We put him in this crate. We put Dotham in the crate. And then my friend said, let's go to Petco and we'll get supplies, what we need for them, because I didn't really have anything for a kitten at that point. I had, because I just had Rogue, and the kittens were outside, and when they came in, they just went into that crate, and they just stayed there for a couple of hours or overnight, and then someone came and got them and took them to the rescue. So we went and so before we went, I gave him some food. Niffler ate 2 cans. Niffler was literally starving. He ate 2 cans of the Fancy Feast kitten. I think it was Fancy Feast kitten. Some kind of a kitten food we had for him. And I was so upset. I was just so upset because it was obvious they hadn't been feeding him. It was obvious they didn't give him the proper vet care. It was obvious that he had some kind of really bad respiratory infection. He was sick. We had to get him antibiotics, and an eye ointment. It was just really bad. We doubted that. Weren't even sure if they had actually vaccinated them or not. We didn't know. So he definitely hadn't been neutered. So we were basically, it's just like we had gone out to the alley and just picked up a kitten and said, okay, well, we'll just deal with this ourselves. It was like they had never even been to a rescue because they did absolutely nothing. So we brought him in and got him all taken care of, took care of his respiratory infection and everything. And it's really been, for a long time, he was always been very nervous. He's always been very anxious. I have a suspicion that when they fed them at that quote unquote rescue, that it was basically they just put down a pan of food and just the cats just kind of fought it out. Whoever got food got food. But I'm really glad that I got him because he's turned into be such a sweet boy. And, I nursed him. We got him nursed back to health. The trauma and emotional damage that he suffered in that rescue took a lot longer. And it's really just kind of within the last year or so that he's started to really become more affectionate and friendly and not be so scared. And he was never really terrified before, but when I would touch him, he would stiffen, like he didn't want to be touched. And now he's starting to become much more relaxed. He's always slept with me. He's always curled up in like the crook of my leg and slept with me. And he's, he was also got documentation as an emotional support animal because as someone that lives with trauma and PTSD, I would have night terrors, and I still do sometimes. I have horrible nightmares. But with Niffler, the thing that he did is he would lay in the crook of my leg, and if I would start to get restless, I would actually feel him like push against my leg, like almost like he's grounding me. For those people that aren't familiar, there's a technique called grounding. So if you're dissociating, if you're someone that has some kind of disorder or mental health disorder where you dissociate, where you disassociate from reality or you have flashbacks, a grounding exercise is either like pushing your feet down onto the floor to literally ground yourself, or to have some kind of touchstone, like an actual stone. You could have an actual, like a river pebble or a crystal or some kind of little like some a keychain, or you could have anything. It could be anything, but it's something that tethers you to reality and brings you back if you start to dissociate. And that's what NIF does for me. So I think, I think it was, talk about how cats pick their owners. I think it was really meant to be that, karma wasn't there. It was, karma wasn't there. I got the cat that I needed, and he's been really instrumental in helping me. I mean, I don't have nightmares like I used to. I don't have the night terrors. It's just so much better than it used to be. And a lot of that is because I feel more secure when I feel him, as soon as he comes up and he lays against my leg, I just feel it's comforting. It's just comforting. So that's the story of little Niffler. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you hug your kitties tight, because they are wonderful, loving little creatures. And I think that's all for now, because I think we actually finished this. And as you can see, it looks like new. So if you enjoyed the cleaning the cat tree with me, and you would like your own little lily brush, go over to Amazon, or actually I can put a link. I'll put a link in the comment section. What do you think, Fury? Did we do an okay job? Did we? Okay. Yeah, I have I'm just looking here at the just I'm not perfect either. I mean, I have crap over there. I have those pots I have to clean. I'm just looking over at that cat tree next to the water bowl, and you can't see it, but behind there is a big wad of hair. I'm like, oh crap, I need to clean that next. Never underestimate the power of the human-animal bond. That's what I will leave everyone with. Because I would tell you, my life is so much more fulfilled since I have these guys in my life. Despite frustrations, despite anxiety, despite uncertainty, I really don't know how I survived without them. I never thought I would, I've always had dogs. I was never, I had like one cat growing up. We had a cat that lived outside. That was actually my brother's cat. And then I inherited him because my brother didn't take care of him. And I got him. His name was, my brother called him, I forget, Mako or something. I don't know. He was Jaws was the movie at the time, and my brother was really into sharks and called him Mako or something like that. And I called him Tigger because he was a yellow tabby. And he was a tomcat. Back then we didn't neuter like we do now, and outdoor cats weren't neutered. So he ended up getting in a fight, and we took him to the vet, tried to get him taken care of, but he ended up dying from his injuries. So that was like, that was sad. But then we had an indoor cat, and she had been a stray that had been dropped off, and she had been declawed. And I didn't know anything. We didn't know anything about declawing back then either. I mean, we didn't do it. The people that dropped her off had declawed her. So we had her for a while. And then she unfortunately got hit by a car. And that was pretty much it for cats. I always had dogs. I didn't dislike cats. I mean, I have friends with cats. I've never disliked them. I've just never really, always just had dogs. I don't know, I just always preferred dogs, and just, bought into all the stereotypes of, oh, litter boxes and smell, and, they're going to tear up everything. And I mean, it's a shame because there's still so much stigma surrounding cats, which is really sad. But it's not true. A lot of what you hear for people that aren't part of this community, if you're seeing this video for the first time and you've never heard of Life with 18 Cats, which I encourage you to go over there and check out Kim's channel with Life with 18 Cats, if unedited. And you've never heard of the Armchair Cat Advocate until this video, stick around, hang out with us, learn about cats, learn about what awesome, amazing animals they are, and they're loving and they're loyal, and they will complete your life. Trust me. They will give you so much. They will give you so much more than you will ever be able to give them. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for watching. I hope everyone has a good day, and I will see you in the next one.